I've got your energy stories for the second week of July 2022. Well, late last year, Uber announced a partnership with Hertz to make available to rent up to 50,000 Tesla EVs by 2023 exclusively for drivers in the US Uber network. This past week, Uber announced that drivers in over 30 cities including LA, Houston, Boston, Chicago, Atlanta, and Miami can now rent Teslas through the program. Already, over 15,000 drivers have engaged in this scheme, taking more than 5 million fully electric trips and driving over 40 million electric miles. Well, in China, Tesla EV competitor NIO made two announcements last week that were pretty big. First, it's planning to start installing 500 kilowatt fast charging stations in China and Europe this year. It also revealed that by 2025, it intends to support a battery swap network in China covering 18 highways and 19 urban areas, with more than 90% of NIO customers having at least one battery swap station within about 2 miles of their homes. It's off to a decent start, having just completed its 1,000th battery swapping station installation, and NIO says it's now opening 2 new stations in China every single day. Well, VW broke ground on its battery gigafactory in Salzgitter, Germany, and named it Salzgitter. The 40 gigawatt-hour plant will supply batteries to about 50,000 EVs a year and function as a hub for VW's global battery activities and vertical integration of its supply chain. It's the first of a planned 6 gigafactories in Europe, totaling 240 gigawatt hours by 2030, plus other potential plants in North America in the near future. ChargeWest, an 8-state collaborative in the American West, is also moving ahead with EVs. This initiative was recently unveiled in Salt Lake City. It includes Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming, and it potentially creates the largest electric vehicle corridor in the country with a focus on rural areas, which is pretty important because up until now, many of the charging locations have either been on the major highways or in the cities. And this aims to rectify that problem and create more opportunities for EV drivers in the West. Well, switching to grid planning, Maine regulators recently okayed a plan for Central Maine Power to shore up its transmission and distribution system in the Topsom and Brunswick areas with distributed energy resources and other non-wires alternatives, including utility-scale batteries. This instead of expensive transmission infrastructure upgrades. This more cost-effective and targeted approach aims to reduce loads or address loads during those peak periods, which may only occur during a few hours over a limited number of days each year. A 2019 state law requires utilities to evaluate non-wires alternatives, including batteries and DERs, when big transmission upgrades are being considered. This project is expected to save customers $8.5 million over its 40-year life and could well serve as a model for others. Well, the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection just okayed a $708 million 3-year energy efficiency plan projected to generate $1.7 billion in total benefits and reduce grid carbon dioxide emissions by 4.6 million tons. The plan will focus on efficiency efforts directed towards electric and gas utility customers with the biggest overdue balances and most frequent shutoffs. And the investment is expected to create $2.41 in benefits for every dollar put into the program. Well, both New York and New England are going to need more of those efficiency programs in the years to come, as well as other resources to help meet reliability challenges and load growth. Grid operators from both markets released new outlooks last week, highlighting dramatic changes and challenges expected in the coming years as the push to decarbonize our energy economies intensifies. New England projects electrification of heating and transportation end uses is expected to more than double the capacity of the New England grid over the next 20 years. And as large amounts of wind, battery storage, and solar continue to enter the mix, some balancing resources, i.e. natural gas, will remain necessary for reliability. And for its part, the New York grid operator is eyeing similar changes and warning that the accelerating retirement of its nuclear plants, plus many fossil-based dispatchable resources, especially in the last 3 years, including the Indian Point nuclear plant, are causing reserve margins, the amount of available capacity to be called on in an emergency, to shrink, getting, quote, close to minimum reliability requirements, unquote, as the state targets 70% renewables by 2030 and a 100% carbon-free grid by 2040. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.